MJ Kirby, and I'm the senior pastor of First United Methodist Church of Gaucher. It is my privilege to welcome you to the Jackson County Chamber of Commerce sponsored Candidate Forum, broadcasting live from our beautiful sanctuary. It is my hope that after you spend a little time with the candidates this evening, you will emerge as a more educated and confident voter. Together, we can move Gaucher into that big, bright future that's right on the horizon. And so I thank you for joining us this evening. And may God bless you, and God bless our city.
Good evening. Thank you, Pastor Kirby, for that welcome. I'm Paige Roberts, President and CEO of the Jackson County Chamber of Commerce. And as Pastor Kirby mentioned, the Chamber's Government and Public Policy Committee is honored to have created this hybrid version just for 2021. Please note that tonight's forum is for the council seats only. The mayoral race is not decided until the general election in June, so we have decided to do the forum for the mayoral candidates in late April or sometime in May. Tonight we host the council seat candidates. Each candidate will receive 2 minutes to give their introductions. They will then answer 3 questions each. They were given 10 questions ahead of time before today, and those 10 questions will be drawn, but some of the questions may be drawn more than once. Some of them may not be drawn at all. I suggest to the candidates that if you have a favorite question or have prepared an answer you like more than another and you're not asked that question, please use your 3 minutes of closing time to address that question if you so choose. The last 3 minutes for closing are up to you for use. If we have gone through the 3 questions per candidate by 6:30, we will begin asking vetted public questions. The people in the audience attending here at the church this evening will not be commenting or asking questions. They are here simply for moral support. The public questions will come from you, the virtual audience, through Facebook or the WGUD YouTube channel. At 6:45, the question answering will conclude and the closing will begin. This is not a debate. There will be no commenting or interaction between or among the candidates. It is a forum, a simple exchange of ideas. Candidates will hold up for you during your 2-minute introduction as well as your 2 minutes to answer questions, a 30-second countdown sign that looks like this. Because the closing is 3 minutes long, you will get a 1-minute sign and then a 30-second sign. So please keep that in mind. We have one candidate who was not able to join us this evening because we were not able to reach him, so I did want to bring that to your attention. And now to introduce our moderator, Deborah Quave, a graduate of Gaucher High School. Deborah is the CEO of Deborah Quave Enterprises. She is an author and motivational speaker who is passionate about expressing the power of communication in a way that uplifts the marginalized and disenfranchised. In 2014, she founded Use Your Words, the movement, an initiative aimed at restoring the art of communication by creating platforms for unheard voices to be heard. Since the inception of Use Your Words, Deborah has delivered her messages of communicative restoration in schools, youth programs, retreats, and conferences around this country, as well as Israel and the United Kingdom. She is the host of The Weekly Word, a Facebook Live show that airs Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on her Deborah Quave page. Deborah's motto, be the light that shines the light and gives the light to the world. Thank you, Deborah Quave, for serving as our moderator this evening. And so I now turn it over to Deborah so that we may begin.
Thank you, Paige. Good evening, candidates. You want to have 2 minutes to introduce yourself. Tonight we have Mr. Adam College, at-large candidate, Ms. Mary Martin, at-large, Mr. Cameron George from Ward 1, Mr. Tony Miller from Ward 1, Mr. Gordon Galat from Ward 3, and Mr. Chris Hoover from Ward 3. Adam Coolidge, you may make your way to the podium. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Adam Coolidge. I'm the current councilman for Ward 5, and I'm running for council at large. This is just the beginning of great things to come. When first elected, I ran on the promise of always being the voice for the residents, to listen to the residents of Gaucher, and to dedicate everything possible to help this great city reach its full potential. My focus to Gaucher has always been steadfast. Since being elected to the city council, Gaucher is now financially stable. Capital improvement projects are a norm rather than non-existent. City events are plentiful, and economic development is beginning to bloom. I fully adhere to and understand our city manager, council form of government, and led council to appoint a city manager that best suits Gaucher's needs. Together, we can continue moving Gaucher forward because I'm only getting started. Throughout my time as Gaucher councilman for Ward 5, I've always done my best to be responsive to the residents, whether it be day or night, weekdays or weekends, and even holidays. My phone is always on. The majority of the time I can help, and I'm always honest and forthright no matter the circumstances. It is not uncommon to be told the information I provide is thorough and includes a great level of understanding. Many have stated I bring balance to the council and thoroughly prepared for meetings and not afraid to ask the difficult questions, and will fight for what is right through informative debates and extensive research. That is my job as your elected official. I will serve the entire city with the same dedication I serve Ward 5. Please allow me the continued honor to serve and represent you, the voter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coolidge. You may take your seat. Ms. Mary Martin from At Large.
I usually don't need that. I'm Mary Martin, and I'm the councilwoman at large for our city and have been for 10 years. I was born and raised right here. I've raised my children right here, and believe me, I have a lot of them. I have 5 children, 17 grandchildren, and 38 great-grandchildren, and those are all legal kids, too. I've enjoyed working for the city, and my phone, when it rings, I answer it. If I'm not able to answer the phone before the day is out, I call the people back. And when they call me about a complaint, I go and see about it right there. Now, sometimes you can fix the problems and sometimes you can't. But you try your best to do the best for our citizens. And that's the first thing we think about is our citizens, because that's who we're representing, not ourselves. We're representing our citizens. I enjoy this. I am retired. And I go to everything, I attend to everything, and anybody invites me to anything, I go to it. And sometimes the meals are good. So we eat good. You can look at us and tell that, all of us that's on the council, you know. After you're on the council for about a year, poor scales. So that's all I had to say. Just on April the 8th, the 6th, remember me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Cameron George, representing Ward 1.
I'm going to adjust this mic just a little bit. I'm Cameron George, Councilman Ward 1 here in the city of Gaucher. I could talk statistics, I could talk how the city's doing, but really I just want to share my views on why I do what I do by taking my mask off. And I want to start with, my family's here, I have extended family here, I'm rooted here. This is something that I dedicate a lot of my time to, my family's time. I pray about this a lot. There's been a lot of great things that have happened in the last 4 years. I have a vision for Gaucher. This is somewhere that I want to see blossom and grow, not only for my daughter's sake, who's 16 months old, but for all of the citizens of Gaucher and the students that go to Pascagoula Gaucher School District. There's a lot of potential here, and we're finally at that point where we're pushing over the hill to see a lot of development and a lot of growth here to grow our tax base and to really put Gaucher on the map more than we've already done in the last 4 years. I say that to say, I'm honestly a caring, honest, hardworking politician. I'm here for the residents. I'm available, and I give my honest-to-God truth and promise to always be the voice for the citizens and to push the city forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. Tony Miller, Ward 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First, I want to thank the Chamber for hosting this event. Pastor Kirby, thank you for allowing us to use your beautiful facilities here for this forum. And I want to start out first by saying that I agree completely with what you've already heard from some candidates on this side, that Gaucher is at a great point in our trajectory. We have seen a lot of progress already at laying the groundwork for some beautiful things to come. And I'm eager to see those happen. I want to tell you that I believe that we require experience, leadership, management, and financial experience in place in our city government to ensure that those things are all executed to the best interest of our citizens. And I am the candidate with that experience. I was born and raised in Mississippi, about 100 miles from here. I graduated the Naval Academy and spent the next 25 years as a naval officer traveling all over the world. And we've ended here. This is where we want to be, have deep roots here, and don't plan to go anywhere. But I'll tell you, in the time between then and now, I've acquired a lot of experience in working with government, working in finance and project management. In Navy, I was a commanding officer twice. I was a programming officer in the Pentagon, where I was responsible for over $300 million. I was the assistant general manager of a Walmart distribution center, where my profit and loss statement every month greatly exceeded the entire budget of the city for the year. I am the candidate with the experience to help push these things along and ensure that we do move our city forward in the way that we all want to see happen. I'm also very involved in our community here. I'm the vice president of our Rotary Club. I'm in American Legion, very active in our church. And I'm very happy to be here. I want to continue that service to our community in a greater role here in city government. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. Gordon Goliath, Ward 3.
Good evening, folks. First of all, I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for putting this virtual program on. I know many of you that have been here in the city. I have been a resident of this city for 35 years. As most of you know, I was a previous Ward 3 councilman, and I was a mayor of this town for 4 years. That experience of 8 years on the council gives me the opportunity to, hopefully again, support this city. I have a passion for helping people. I've always done it. I was a Boy Scout when I was 12 years old, helping people. I'm part of the St. Mary's Catholic Church, and we're always doing functions there. I am a member of the American Legion. I graduated from Mississippi State University. I was in New York, and when I got a call at Ingalls to come to work there, I come straight home, and here I am. I enjoy working with people. What's happening in this city is, my slogan for this campaign is finish what we started. A lot of the projects that you see that's going to come to fruition here, hopefully within this next year, a lot of those were started when my tenure was on the council. I'm very familiar with those items. I'm looking forward for them to be able to come to fruition, and I will really enjoy the opportunity to serve again the great city of Gaucher. And thank you all very much.
Thank you, Gordon. Chris Hoover, Ward 3.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. My name is Chris Hoover. So when I decided to run for Ward 3 councilman, a lot of people have come to me and asked questions, and one of the biggest things that's come up is, who is Chris Hoover? I know that name. I don't really know the face. I've lived in Gaucher for 35 plus years. I've had 6 children here with my wife. Well, not all of them with my wife. I have a blended family, but we've raised 6 children together. 4 of them graduates of Gaucher High School. I was here when, before Gaucher had a high school, so I graduated past school in 1990. But I have roots here, whether it was coaching soccer, the director for the rec soccer club, attending every band performance you can imagine for the last, 20-something years. But I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, and my mission here is to stand up for what's right. Gaucher is heading in the right direction. I've seen a lot of positive things, attending council meetings and realizing that the current board has done a wonderful job. Our city manager has done an amazing job. So I'm hoping that if I'm elected, that I can continue helping move Gaucher forward in the right direction. So thank you, and remember, April 6th, come out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. That concludes our candidate introductions. We will now begin predetermined questions. You each will have 3 questions and 2 minutes per question. Not all questions will be asked. Some may be asked twice. We're going to start with Adam College at large. Adam, should the city begin live streaming of city council and other meetings?
Absolutely. In this day and age, there is no reason why it should not be live streamed. The technology is there, the infrastructure is there, and we should be live streaming. And next term, if elected, I will work with the city manager and the staff to make sure that live streaming is an option for our future council meetings and planning commission meetings.
Thank you.
I didn't know if we did sequential.
Yeah. You have your time. It's 2 minutes. Ms. Martin?
Ask me an easy one.
What do you consider Gaucher's greatest selling point, and how do you plan to leverage that point to revitalize residential and commercial growth?
Well, we have the largest jewel right here in our city, our Jackson County Junior College. We need to work with our junior college and to expand more things, build dormitories for our children. You can go right there at the junior college right here in our city limits and get a 4-year degree. So I would think that's our greatest asset. Thank you.
Cameron George, Ward 1.
Yeah.
Cameron, what do you consider to be the city's greatest challenge, and how would you overcome it?
Well, unfortunately, over the past years, we've had several challenges here. I think that our main challenge here recently has been the mall property. A lot of residents think that the city owns the property and it's went to its demise because of the city, and that's not completely factual. Thankfully, we have obtained funding through Coast Restoration, as well as some other grants, to purchase the mall property and completely turn that around and develop future businesses there and work with developers. Some other issues that we may have is an overpass for the railroad tracks along Highway 90 for South Gaucher. This prevents a lot of common easygoing traffic, especially with emergency response times if the train is blocking the way from CSX. There are also many no access zones regulated by MDOT for a lot of our potentially property that has good development potential along 57 and 90 that really makes it difficult for potential developers to come in and agree to purchase the property because of those no access zones, as well as a lot of wetland issues. If we could find a way to have these mitigated through the Corps of Engineers before offering these properties to developers, it would make things a lot easier. Thank you.
Tony Miller, from Ward 1.
Does he look like me?
We do look a lot alike, don't we?
Come on now.
My apologies. Tony Miller from Ward 1. Should you should the city begin live streaming of city council and other meetings?
That's not going to be much of a debate at all. I completely agree that we should. In fact, I will tell you probably the most common thing that I hear from residents in my ward as I go around and talk to people is lack of communication. They feel like they don't know what's going on. Cameron just rightly told you that many people have thought for a long time that the city owns the mall property. There are other misunderstandings. People feel like they need more communication. I understand that people can come to the city council meetings. They're open to the public, but there's a limit to how much seating there is there. And a lot of people may feel intimidated to come to a public forum like that, not knowing what to expect, where they'd be much more comfortable watching the live stream from home. But I think one of the things that I will definitely do as a councilman is ensure effective and frequent communication to people, to be both responsive to them, but also to continue putting out information about what's going on with the council, with the city, where we're going, updates on projects and issues that are of importance to people. And having the meetings live streamed is just another avenue that we can do that it is easily accomplished, and we should definitely do it.
Thank you, Tony. Gordon Galat from Ward 3. Gordon, what do you consider Gaucher's greatest selling point, and how do you plan to leverage that point to revitalize residential and commercial growth?
Well, if you look at where this city is located and the amount of undeveloped land in it, particularly along Highway 90, my belief of economic development is number one. Utilizing the undeveloped land is our greatest asset. We need to improve this entire city, because if you bring it, they will come. I always promoted that when I was previously on the council, and some of the things that we got going on, for instance, the 65-acre mall, behind it is a town commons, and that idea was created years ago. That would be something to bring citizens out and people into our town to visit. Okay, and that's what we need, economic development. The greatest asset is the property that we have that's undeveloped. Think about it. All the other cities are filling up. They don't have any. We are primed to do that.
Thank you, Gordon. Chris Hoover from Ward 3. Chris, what is more important for our city right now? Building new homes and commercial spaces, or rehabbing, expanding, and better utilizing our existing homes and storefronts?
We have to attract new businesses to Gaucher, plain and simple. So the city, I know has recently taken on some new businesses. Tony's Barbecue, Cornerstone came back, which is great. But we need to continue to market our city to encourage more businesses to set up here in Gaucher. I'd like to see our existing spaces utilized better while also expanding new commercial spaces. So I believe that new businesses bring people in by focusing and attracting new businesses will help strengthen our housing market. So we need new, but we have to update the existing to try to get new businesses to come in, and that's going to help with the housing.
Thank you, Chris. That concludes round 1. We're now going into round 2 with Adam College. Representing at large. Adam, if you received a $1 million grant to use for the city in any way you wanted, what would you do with it and why?
One of the biggest challenges and complaints we get as on council is water clarification. We currently have under construction a 1 million gallon per day water well that will be adjoined with a 3 million gallon per day nanofiltration water treatment plant. That will address all the water clarifications for South Gaucher reaching up to almost I-10. If I had $1 million, I would utilize that money to put a nanofiltration water filtration system on the Lark wells north of I-10. That would provide clarification for all water in the city limits. Thank you.
Mary Martin, representing at large.
We're gonna wear this thing out. Get me a stew, Gordon.
Mary, if someone came to you with a proposal to build a new piece of public infrastructure in our city, example, a road or a bridge, how would you evaluate whether that project was worth implementing?
Well, MDOT is now evaluating an overpass railroad for one of our three areas that go across the railroad track for our safety of the South Gaucher to come across the north side. That would be for our safety. That would be for the people's safety. If we could have that overpass over there. And I would think that it wouldn't even be a question that you'd be proud to welcome them if somebody would come in and want to build that. Thank you.
Cameron George, representing Ward 1. Cameron, should the city begin live streaming of city council and other meetings?
Yes. This is something that happens across the coast, of course, and I think we're all in agreement here on the panel that this is something that should happen to bring us into the 21st century as far as communication. We can put out all of the public broadcasting we want. We can go to residents' house and answer the phone call as much as we need to and have attendance at our meetings. But there's still people that remain unknowledgeable on what's going on in the city and who does what. So I think that live streaming, of course, as a no-brainer, would help remedy that issue.
Tony Miller, representing Ward 1. Tony, what do you consider Gaucher's greatest selling point, and how do you plan to leverage that point to revitalize residential and commercial growth?
We have a number of great selling points. This is a great place to live. We are nature's playground. I would say our greatest point is our people. We have great people here, and along with that, we have low-cost housing, reasonable cost housing, so it's good to bring people in. We have good employment opportunities. Everybody is aware of the employment opportunities at places like Ingalls and Chevron, but those aren't the only ones. As Gordon has already said, there's lots of developable land, and when we encourage more business to come, it's a synergistic process. We sell our people, our property values, the employability to bring people here to sell business, and our people are eager to have more business. Right now, there are 35,000 cars a day traveling down Highway 90 every day, and most of them don't stop here. In fact, most of us have to go somewhere else frequently for the things that we need. So we need to bring more business in. And I think it's been said already, if you build it, they will come. But not only is that true, they don't have to come. They are already here. Our people are here and eager to patronize new businesses that come in. So we need to make it easy for those businesses to come in, and we can sell them. They have a great market already in place here with people who are eager to patronize their businesses. Thank you.
Gordon Gillott, representing Ward 3. Gordon, what is unique about Ward 3?
What is unique about Ward 3? Well, Ward 3, if you look at the ward map, it's the largest land-wise map in the city. It also covers the entire downtown of the city. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get back into the political arena, for the fact that this ward will make the difference in what happens in this town. What goes on in that ward is going to be what everybody's saying, new business, everything. It's the ward I've been in all my life. I come here in 1986, and I have not moved, so I want to do something for the city, and it's going to happen in Ward 3, hopefully when I'm on the council. Thank y'all very much.
Chris Hoover, representing Ward 3. Chris, what do you consider the city's greatest challenge, and how would you overcome it?
I'm sorry. Attracting new businesses is our greatest challenge. We have to figure out a way to sell Gaucher to businesses. I think it's important to know that we don't just say, oh, come to Gaucher. We have to find out what is our clientele? What is it that we can offer to a business so that it can succeed, excuse me. You don't just say, oh, we'll come here, you're gonna make it. Like, for example, I love that we're nature's playground. So I was thinking about, I heard that Mary Walker's Marina has got a buyer, which is exciting to me because I personally use the boat launch. We buy bait from there. I think it's important. I'm really hopeful that the new owners can come in there, upgrade it, and really showcase what Gaucher has. If you look at Gaucher, we're surrounded by water. We have tons of access to the Gulf of Mexico. My son is an avid fisherman. You know, we personally live on the water. We throw our crab pots out, catch our own crabs, which is amazing. Gaucher really has a lot to offer somebody. We just have to find the right client that can come here and succeed in Gaucher. So bringing in new businesses is huge, but bringing in the right businesses for Gaucher.
That concludes round 2. We're going to begin round 3 with Adam College, Councilman at Large. Adam, what is unique about your ward?
I live currently in Ward 5. What I love about Ward 5 is the diversity. Anybody of any economic status or livelihood can move and live in that ward. We have a spot for everybody. In addition to that, we have a golf course that has been there for years. It's currently closed, but it's supposed to be, supposedly, knock on wood, has a buyer, and it's going to be, once again, a great asset to Ward 5 and the city as a whole. We have Buddy Davis Ball Fields, which we have now a new league that's going to do baseball, and they're going to draw in out-of-towners for tournament play. That's going to enhance our city, our restaurants, and our grocery stores. But what I love most about the city, about my area, is the water around it. We have several navigable channels that come off of Bayou Castile with boat launch to access them. And part of my projects that I've worked on for several years is the dredging of those channels, which is supposed to bid. I've worked with Jackson County, got the Army Corps of Engineers permits done, and those channels are going to be dredged to make those waterfront properties better accessed by boats. Thank you.
Mary Martin, representing at large. Mary, if you received a $1 million grant to use for the city in any way you wanted, what would you do with it?
That's the one I wanted. That's the one I wanted. If I had $1 million, if they gave us $1 million, the main thing I would do would be for the water first. But the second thing is to put street lights in as many streets as we could get here in Gaucher for the people's safety. People walk down the roads at night, they walk in the middle of the streets, and it's very unsafe. But if we had street lights, and in particular Martin Bluff, that is the darkest street that I have ever seen in my life at night. But whenever they resurface that and make the new Martin Bluff Road, we will get street lights there. But we need street lights in our city. Very, very bad. Thank you.
Cameron George, representing Ward 1. Cameron, what is more important for Gaucher right now? Building new homes and commercial spaces, or rehabbing, expanding, and better utilizing our existing homes and storefronts?
In my opinion, they're both equally as important. If I were to prioritize the two, I think that bringing in new homes and businesses is smarter to do in the beginning. That builds your tax base in the front end and also brings in new residents on the front end. Those residents and new businesses that come in will entice further development for the older buildings and older homes that are here for a lot more upgrading and expansion here in the city. You know, you got to start, if we do the old ones first, we're just kind of spinning the wheels in the same place that we've been in. I think that expanding is always better. Thank you.
Tony Miller, representing Ward 1. Tony, what neighborhood do you live in and why? And where are your favorite places to spend time in Gaucher?
I live on Old Shell Landing Road, and I love that area. My family loves that area because we're, for all practical purposes, out in the country. We have neighbors close, but there are big lots. There are a lot of areas that don't have any houses, a lot of wooded areas all around us. So it feels like we're out in the country, but yet we're very close as well. We can get right back to town to get what we need quickly. And that is, it's a great environment for me as well. As far as places to spend time, one thing that we really, probably most outings together as a family involve food. And we have some great places to eat. We need more great places to eat, certainly. But already, I will tell you, we have some favorites, like Roma's, Country Gentleman, Azteca. Very happy to see Tony's come in with the barbecue. Very happy to see Cornerstone. So, you know, if being on the council will fatten you up, I'm already on my way with that. We love food, and we love some of the establishments we have here already and want to continue to see that grow even more.
Gordon Gallat, representing Ward 3. Gordon, what do you consider the city's greatest challenge, and how would you overcome it?
The city's greatest challenge is to put this city on the map where people know where it is. During the time that I was a mayor, I spent a lot of time in Jackson letting those people up there know where we were and what we wanted and what we needed. This place, again, is unique. It's along the Gulf Coast. It has a name that is unique. People mispronounce it all the time, so they remember that. And then when you correct it, they remember where you are. It is a great place to live in. It is fantastic. It is a nice place to live. It is quiet, but economic development has to happen to bring in more money for sales tax to improve our streets, street lights, roads, everything. So our challenge is economic development.
Chris Hoover, representing Ward 3. Chris, if you received a $1 million grant to use for the city in any way you wanted, what would you do with it and why?
Well, $1 million would be great for the city, obviously. And just like Miss Mary said, streetlights, improvements to the city are much needed. And I would keep harping on this, but it goes along with everybody, what they've said. We have to be able to offer businesses something to come here. So if we were able to use $1 million, whether it was a tax break, some sort of incentive to get somebody to come here and put some roots down and offer, like we said, better restaurants, more choices. Tony's right, we have some great restaurants here, but to be able to add some more, and I know the mall project is coming along slowly but surely. Poor Belk over there. Thank goodness we have Belk, because without him, I don't know what a lot of us would do in a pinch. So we got to be able to use that money to help, if we were to receive that money, to help get some people here and get them here to stay. Thanks.
Thank you. That concludes round 3. There were no public questions from our live stream audience, so we'll go on to round 4 of questioning. We're going to start off with Adam College. You each will have 2 minutes to answer. Adam, if you could change one thing in our zoning code, what would it be and why?
Well, for this question, I asked input from those persons dealing with this on a daily basis, our city manager and our planning director. Both stated the one thing they would change is reducing the area of the town center zoning district because it currently covers too much area. It currently encompasses the area of Highway 90 from Beasley Road all the way to Johnston. The town center zoning is very restrictive on certain commercial types and is causing some burden on commercial developments, especially those vacant storefronts that are outside of the area that I mentioned. Reducing the specific zoning reducing the specific zoning to the area just around the mall property will facilitate commercial growth in those vacant storefronts that we currently have. Thank you.
Mary Martin, representing at large. Mary, how do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in Gaucher?
To invite the citizens in for what we do, we need to have town hall meetings. We need to have meetings for that ward, for whatever particular ward that we're working for, to build up something for that project. We need to be able to have the meetings, and we used to have town hall meetings sometimes, but that's what we need to do, to where in that area and for that ward, you can talk to the people from that ward about the things that you want to do in that particular ward. Thank you.
Cameron George, representing Ward 1.
Break your ankle before this is over with.
Cameron, if you could change one thing in our zoning code, what would it be and why?
So my answer aligns with Mr. Adams. Our town commons, of course, is quite large, and I've had a lot of issues with that here in the past. Another is there's some other past mistakes or done incorrectly with a split residential commercial zoning, a lot that's in my ward that prevents residential areas from expanding their home or building more homes because it's zoned as commercial. That may not ever be commercial area, but it still restricts them from what they can do in the residential area. So that definitely needs to be changed to benefit those constituents. Thank you.
Tony Miller, representing Ward 1. Tony, how do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in Gaucher?
You've already heard me say earlier that communication with our residents is vitally important, and we have a lot of residents who feel like they're not getting that now. I am certainly a big proponent of the live streaming from the other question that was asked. That was such an easy question that I know nobody could take 2 minutes to fill that one for sure. But in addition to that, day-to-day ongoing communication and it being accessible to people. If elected, I will keep my campaign Facebook site live and give people frequent updates. I envision a newsletter type format just to let people knowing what's going on bi-weekly. So people have, and I know the minutes are posted on the city website, but it's very long and not really very readable for people unless you're really seriously looking for something. I'd like to summarize that down just into a couple of paragraphs that are easy to read, that people can see what's going on. I will tell you that I will be accessible and responsible. On the door hangers I put on, hand out to people, I have both my email address and my personal cell phone number listed. I invite people to contact me. I will answer the phone. I will call them back. I will be responsive. If for some reason that I don't get the call at the time, I will return phone messages expeditiously to get people answers back. In addition to that, I think Mary mentioned this in a previous question as well. For any project of broad interest, any large project, we also need to have open forums where we invite the public to come in, give feedback, ask questions, make sure that their voice is heard, not just through contacting their councilman, the mayor, the city manager, whoever, but so they can come in person and speak up and let it be known what they need.
Gordon Goodlott, Ward 3. Gordon, what is more important for Gaucher right now? Building homes and commercial spaces, or rehabbing, expanding, better utilizing our existing homes and storefronts?
Well, to me, it'd be more important to building more homes in the selected locations that we can in the residential areas, and or also building new businesses, bringing new businesses in here. Once you bring in new homes and you build new businesses, you increase your sales tax within the city. Sales tax is your major income generator for all cities in the state of Mississippi. You have to have money to operate. This city has been on a very low budget for quite a few years. It's still not up there where I would like it to be. So therefore, economic development, bringing in new businesses and additional homes will increase the population and people coming into our city.
Thank you. Chris Hoover, Ward 3. Chris, what is unique about Ward 3?
What is unique about your Ward 3? So, let me get to my little couple notes I had here. So Ward 3, in my opinion, no offense to anybody else, Adam, you did a good job with yours, is wonderful. First and foremost, we have Shepherd State Park. A lot of people don't even know we have it out there. Fortunately for me, where I live, right off of Bayou Pierre, which is north side of Gravelines, me and the kids, my wife, we'll jump on the golf cart and ride down there, which is great. Now that we have our new rules, I got to sneak to let my 12-year-old drive, which she's doing wonderful. But the park back there is really great. It does need some help. We need to upgrade the playground tremendously. But we have a boat launch back there. There's campground. It's wonderful. Even the dog park that was put in years ago, we've personally used it, and it's a great facility. Like I mentioned earlier, Mary Walker Marina. We enjoy it so much, and maybe because my son is just constantly buying bait, going fishing, but I think Mary Walker is such a great asset to the city of Gaucher, and I hope, like I said earlier, that the new owners are able to upgrade it and people really realize what we have. The George W. Martin City Park is fabulous. I don't know if anybody has been out there recently, but they really have done a good job with the upgrades, with the little water pad that's out there. It's a great area to go and have a family picnic. It really is nice. I'm getting the note here. I could go on, but Ward 3, in my opinion, is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. That now concludes round 4. And because we have some spare time, we're going to give you guys a bonus round. Surprise. So we're going to start off with Mr. Adam College at large.
Take the one about live stream and throw it in the trash.
If someone came to you with a proposal to build a new piece of public infrastructure in our city, an example would be a road or a bridge, how would you evaluate whether that project was worth implementing?
If the project is a benefit to the community as a whole, then it will definitely be worth benefiting. These projects would have to be reviewed by the city personnel to make sure it doesn't create a burden to other existing infrastructure, and would have to meet city, county, state, and federal codes. Anybody that wants to improve our infrastructure, by all means, bring it on. We welcome it. Thank you.
Mary Martin, representing at large.
Knock that thing down.
Mary, if you could change one thing in our zoning code, what would it be and why?
Well, just like the other one said, we need to make our town center smaller. It is spread out too far, and it's just too large for us, and we need it smaller to where we can be more business friendly and to build more things into that one area right there. Thank you.
Cameron George, representing Ward 1.
I'm gonna let Mary sit down first.
Trips me.
Cameron, how do you plan to involve Gaucher residents in the decision-making processes?
So in the past, we've had a lot of issues with road safety, right away for bike lanes, which we have them, they're just not very safe. We've had outside consulting companies come in, and they've given us ideas and opportunities for our residents to come in and pinpoint certain areas that are a concern of them for as far as crosswalks, safety walks, etc. We've had this same concept taking place for other issues in the city. I'd like to see more of this, as well as, going Facebook Live with everything, and having our open meetings and special called meetings for certain wards by each of those. But I think that it's good to not only have a vocal input by our residents, but have them come and give a physical input. Give us note cards, pinpoint on the projector and the notepad, where you want certain things and how you would like to see it done, so we have it and can move forward with getting that done for them.
Tony Miller, representing Ward 1. Tony, if you could change one thing in our zoning code, what would it be and why?
Okay, I've been waiting for this one. Now that I think everybody else has answered it. I'm not certain that I agree with the other candidates that we need to make the town center smaller. Maybe we do. I'm certainly open to input on that. But one thing is absolutely certain, and that is we need to make it better, make it easier to navigate. That town center mixed use zoning needs to be revised, and I want to be careful to say we need to ensure that we make it restrictive enough to maintain the character of our city, and especially so that we can create a distinctive downtown area. We need those kind of restrictions in that zoning code. But we also need to make it easier for a business to get permitted in that area. We need to put down some good guidelines so that City Hall can approve the majority of the permits that come in, and we don't have to have every business that wants to put something in the area go before the Planning Commission and just make it harder. You've heard everybody up here talk about how we need more business. You don't get more business by making it harder to locate here, and that's exactly what the Town Center Zoning Code does right now. So if we fix that, it will also contribute to a lot of the other goals that have been talked about by multiple candidates up here.
Gordon Galat, representing Ward 3. Gordon, how do you plan to involve the Gaucher residents in the decision-making processes for the city?
Well, I'm going to have to go along with the rest of the candidates up here about virtual live streaming of the city council. We talked about that again when I was on the council, but at that particular time, the cost didn't allow us to do it. I was in favor of it then, I'm in favor of it now. Town hall meetings is another one. We need for the city administration to schedule a town hall meeting with the ward councilman in their ward. Maybe we could figure out a way to ask the citizens what they want to see in that town hall meeting, or if there's a project going on there, a town hall meeting needs to be done within that particular ward to explain to the citizens how and what is happening in their ward.
Chris Hoover, representing Ward 3. Chris, should the city begin live streaming of city council and other meetings?
Yes, I totally agree. And just to expand on that, I think it's really important. But you think about residents, elderly, that aren't able to get around as easily, for them to be able to go to their computer, their phone, whatever, and to sit and watch. And I think somebody had said, I think some people are intimidated to come, which they shouldn't be. It really is a good atmosphere. But to be able to sit at the comfort of your own home, kind of understand how it works, and it will spark a question for sure. Somebody's going to think, wow, if I was there, I imagine at some point it'll get to where maybe we could interact with people like that. But it might spark something in somebody to come to the meeting and give some input, because we all want to know what the residents want to move forward in a positive light. But that might be the first way to get things rolling, is to have the ability to sit at home and see how it works, and then not be afraid to come up there and put their input in. So.
Thank you all. That concludes the question and answer portion. Now we will go into the closing statements. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to answer. 3 minutes to close. Adam College, you're up.
What I feel makes a great council member. Being on council should be more than just responding to resident issues. It's about having the foresight to improve the community and city. As current council member for Ward 5 in Gaucher, I've always had projects in mind that make this city a better place. As mentioned in previous posts on my Facebook page and next door that I'm on very regularly, and the residents appreciate that, along with updates and projects. Quite a few of my envisioned projects have come to fruition. I have a dozen projects citywide in mind that will improve the quality of life for this city, and I'm ready to bring those to reality when elected Gaucher Council at large. A couple of Fridays ago, I had the privilege of judging the top 10 finalists for Singing River Academy's 5th grade Amazing Shake competition. This project consisted of students creating a Google slideshow on what they felt the Gaucher needs to improve upon to make this city a better place for youth, adults, and the elderly. All 10 presentations were exceptional, but one in particular stood out to me. As part of that presentation, a young lady included a picture of a city-owned empty lot that she felt would make a great park. It just so happened, because I look at these projects, that I had the same vision and already created a site plan for that exact same piece of property that included 2 tennis courts, 2 basketball courts, a splash pad, and a playground area. I told this young lady about it after the presentation and emailed the site plan to her teacher to show her. The smile on her face was ear to ear. That's what being on council should be about, bringing those dreams of the residents to a reality. She left the presentation knowing that she was being listened to, looking forward to something that brings her excitement, and I will make that happen if elected as Gaucher Council at large. My background is engineering and construction. I've dealt with it for years and years. Whenever I have a project in mind, the first thing I do is create a site plan. Then I work out a budget for that site plan. Then I approach the city manager and her staff to see what we can do to find funding for these projects. If we can't find the funding through the city, then I'll go to the county. If I can't find it through the county, I'll go to the state. I've had much success at that and feel I can continue doing so as council at large. Please vote Adam College, Council at Large, April 6th at the Gaucher Convention Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Mary Martin, representing at large.
Thank you. I have thoroughly enjoyed my 10 years on the Councilwoman at Large. Like I say, I was retired. I attend everything. Like the other ones have said, it's so many things that we've got going right now. And it's not going to be much longer before you can really see the difference in the projects that we have been working on for the last years. Some was when Gordon was on there. And that was years ago, you know, different things that is coming in place. And if we can just hold out and the residents just wait the next 6 months to a year, year and a half, Gaucher is going to be just blooming. Like I say, I want different things in Gaucher. I want a lot of I want buildings, new businesses. And some of the things that we've worked on don't pan out, but most of them do. And like you say, you can either go, if the city doesn't have the money, we can kind of go to the county, or either we go to the state. Now that's my favorite thing, is the state. I love to go to the state capitol and hit them up for money. And the last year, I have done just exactly that. I have hit it for our city, and I've got phone calls. I have made phone calls to different ones up in Jackson, and I've got the money sent to Gaucher for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary. Cameron George, representing Ward 1.
It's been a pleasure to speak here tonight and give my opinion on some of these questions. I'd like to start with qualifications to be a councilman for the city of Gaucher. You're required to reside in the city for at least 2 years, have a high school diploma, and be a registered voter. Those are the qualifications for city council. We speak on experience in project management and finance. In our form of government for the city of Gaucher, we have a city manager, we have a mayor, council, and we have a comptroller that take care of these duties. The city manager is in control of day-to-day operations, the comptroller is in charge of finance, and the board is in charge of approving or disapproving large decisions and contractual agreements with our third-party vendors. We have a lot of restaurants here in the city of Gaucher, and there's more to come, and that's a great asset that we have. But we also have a lot of things today that we didn't have several years ago, as far as family events, Mayor's Youth Council, drive-in movies, farmers markets, holiday events, and many other events that bring our community together and equate communication and fellowship among our citizens that we did not have before. I know these things because I'm involved and I'm at every single event that the city hosts. My accomplishments over the last 4 years and the decisions that I've made and the trips that I've made to Jackson with our council as a whole and the things that we have done speak volumes on my experience as a city councilman for the city of Gaucher. It's been something that I've thoroughly enjoyed over the past 4 years, and I dedicate myself 90%, some to God and the rest of my family, to better Gaucher for the future, and I vow to always be here for the citizens. Please, please, please vote for me on April 6th at the Gaucher Convention Center for Councilman Ward 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. Tony Miller, representing Ward 1.
Okay. You haven't heard much, if any, disagreement among the 6 of us up here tonight on most every topic that has been covered. We need more business. We need better water. We need better communication with the citizens of the city. I would add one more. We need to ensure we have high-speed internet access at every home in our city. There are areas in my ward especially and probably elsewhere in the city that do not have good internet access. And this past year, when we've seen so many kids doing school from home and so many people having to work from home, have highlighted more than ever just how important that is. We need to make sure they have great access so they can watch the live streaming of our city council meetings, right? And obviously everything else that's necessary for their day-to-day lives. And I doubt anybody would disagree with that one. It just hasn't been talked about yet. The differentiator here really is experience. And you just heard Cameron talk about the qualifications for city council and correctly tell you the roles of the staff of the city. This is absolutely true. But while we do have a city manager, a comptroller, et cetera, who are responsible for those day-to-day aspects, the city council is still responsible for creating the vision and providing that overall oversight of the people in those staff positions. It is a back and forth working relationship, but we need people with the experience in these roles to ensure that we're moving in the right direction. I am the candidate with that experience. Financial, you've already heard me say, I've been managing budgets for over 25 years in amounts up to $300 million. I was responsible for $1 billion of inventory in a Walmart distribution center. Now I'm the head of a Prospecta business unit at Stennis Space Center, where I'm responsible for bringing in business or my people don't have a paycheck. Okay? Leadership. You heard the 1,000 employees. I've been a commanding officer twice when I was in the Navy. Business. After my 25 years in the Navy, I have been engaged in business after that at Walmart supply chain, at an innovative venture capital-backed startup doing vertical indoor hydroponic farming, and now at Prospecta supporting Navy and USM, and communication. Finally, I want to tell you one thing that's very important to me, and I know is important to my ward, is ensuring that City Hall works for everyone, regardless of who you are or where you live, and I want to make sure that happens as well. So I want to say thank you again to the Chamber, to the First United Methodist Church, and to you, Deborah, for doing such a great job as our moderator this evening. Please vote for me on April 6th, and I will serve you and be responsive to you.
Thank you, Tony. Gordon Galat, Ward 3.
Where do I start? I, again, have been in this city for 35 years. I've seen a lot of changes happen here. The opportunities is boundless of what's going to happen in the future. I want to be a part of that. As I said earlier, I'm a people person. I'm proud of some of the things that I have had happen in this town. One particular one is what Chris over there mentioned is Shepherd State Park. When I was on the council, okay, I had a cousin, well, he's retired now, it's State Senator Tommy Collot. He approached me, came down here and wanted to give Shepherd State Park to the city. We now own it, but it's still called a state park. That's a jewel that we have here that we need to promote. I want to do that tremendously. Also, our town commons, that's another idea that was created back then. Myself, I have retired from the shipyard after 40 years. I was involved in management my entire life out there. I retired as a technical director out of the engineering department. I managed the budget for the engineering department as a whole on a DDG program. I enjoy that. I'm a numbers man. Another one of the things that I did when I was on the council, and when I came in here, each department was not even doing their own budget. So we changed that. It gives each department head the opportunity to know what his budget is going to be. They make their own recommendations of what they want to do, and that is negotiation through the council. I'm proud of being able to do that. Additionally, there's other things we need to do. The employees, they are, of this city, are some of the best in the world. They are very dedicated. We need to figure out a way to keep those people happy. I'm one of those as a people person that can do that. I did it before. We can do it again. I totally enjoy being in public life. It is one of my just things that I like to do. And I'm looking forward to doing it again. Thank y'all very much. Vote for me, Gordon Galot, August the 6th. Ward 3. Have a good night.
Thank you, Gordon. Chris Hoover, Ward 3.
Thank you for the opportunity to come to here today and speak and answer these questions. I think we have a lot of experience on the board with the current and the potential. If elected, I just want the people to know that I'm standing up for what's right. If you come to me with a question or a concern, I'm going to research it. I'm going to follow it through. I want people to know they can trust in me. It's not just going to be empty promises. You know, that's what we need. The confidence of our citizens to know that the people that are leading the city are leading them in the right direction. I have a great ward. I've spoke to a lot of great people in my ward, and some concerns have come up. We have a cemetery that's owned by the city that's not kept up. Now the citizen that keeps it up, she doesn't mind mowing it, but we have the potential there to really bring it back to life and be proud of it. So just a few things. We have some flooding issues in Ward 3 that I know Phil and them we've been working on. The last storm we had was a good indicator. We had some state people down here to look at it. Those are huge issues. Sidewalks, you know, the Graveline Road is the scenic route. Well, there's no sidewalks. There's nowhere safely to walk, to ride bikes. Those are some things I'm going to look for Ward 3 to bring that together, along with Shepherd State Park. You know, we have a sidewalk that goes partial way. We got to get things moving along so people can enjoy that area. It really is beautiful, and I'm fortunate to have Ward 3 as my area. So, in closing, vote for me April 6th at the Gaucher Civic Center, and I'm going to stand up for what's right for Gaucher and help lead us in the right direction. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Chris. That concludes our forum for this evening. Thank you so much for your time. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Paige Roberts, the President and CEO of the Jackson County Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Deborah. I want to thank my team at the Jackson County Chamber of Commerce, Michael Sipp, Jonathan Brannon, and Taylor Sublett. Thank you so much for the effort that you have put in to planning for both last night's forum in Pascagoula and tonight here in Gaucher. I want to thank also our candidates. It's very clear you put time and preparation into this event, and we thank you from the Chamber and the Government and Public Policy Committee in particular. And thank you to you watching virtually through Facebook and the WGUD YouTube channel. Thank you for taking the time and making the effort to be a more informed, educated voter. That's how we end up with a strong democracy and an even better city of Gaucher, as one of our candidates noted, nature's playground. If you are watching on Facebook or WGUD YouTube channel, please be sure to share and share the Facebook page as well as the YouTube channel link. We'll have that for you on our own Chamber of Commerce Facebook page as well. And please talk to your friends, your neighbors, your family members who are also voters in the city of Gaucher so that they too may be informed when they show up for our primary race on April 6th. So be sure to show up to the polls to continue to watch and to be an informed voter and resident. Thank you to all of you who have taken the time to join us this evening, and have a good rest of your evening. Thank you.